We have got to talk about Bitcoin because it is getting hot out there, and we'll talk about what this guy could potentially have to do with it. So if you are a duck, grab your waddle bottle because you might get thirsty, and let's get right into what exactly is going on right now. So this dude that I popped up there before, this is JD Vance, which is potentially our next vice president. And if so, this is somebody who it's perceived right now is somebody who would be a pro crypto, and that's the way that it's being sold. So if we scroll down here, you can see in 2022, there was a disclosure of having between 100,000 and 250,000 Bitcoin. And that disclosure, I believed, happened in April of 2022. And so if we take a look at the charts on Bitcoin, and I'll put that up there for you so that you can see it. Let's put that up there and switch over to Bitcoin. There we are. So you can see the move that we had yesterday, long tail today. But if we go back to April of 2022, and right there starts April, we were all the way up from about 47-ish thousand all the way down to about 38,000. So he could potentially have more, and he could also have added to that position throughout this time while we were selling down, going through all the FTX mess and everything. So it is possible that he could still maybe hold the same amount of Bitcoin, maybe not have purchased any, maybe not have sold any more recently. So we don't have any more recent disclosures that I'm aware of so far, as I just started looking into that. But this is one that could be very positive for Bitcoin. If we look at this near-term price action that I started talking about, right as I flip to the charts, we do have the 50 SMA as resistance, but it does look with this long bottom wick here that we are actually pulling up above that. So we'll see what today brings. If we close above that 50 SMA, we could start pushing on to the higher amounts that we had up to these previous peaks, which were right around 72,000. And then after that, trying to take on the all-time high of close to 74,000 per BTC. So we could have that potential here in order for this movement to keep on going. We're up above the 200-day. We need to overtake that 50-day that's right there and really start turning things around in more of a bullish way. The RSI is over 50 on the daily. If we go out to the weekly, we're still up above 50 on that. And if we go out to the monthly on this, let me get rid of that and click on month. There we go. The RSI also over 50. It is declining. So we need to keep an eye on that, but we are still in bullish territory on the monthly chart for BTC. Now, there's a few other things that I want to cover in this video, just some updates that I want to make sure that I keep tabs on as I keep on reporting on them on this channel. And so I want to make sure that I don't just drop them like a bad habit. So one of them is DJT, which we know yesterday had its a big old pop. Well, what's happening today in the pre-market hours? Well, we're down around 37, and we have this gap to fill between 32 and 38. So I don't know if we'll get a bounce. If we do, it could be off this trend line that we have here. We could potentially fill this gap. We'll see if this excitement stays around. I think that we will stay bullish on this, but we'll have to look and see where that price action comes out of this one. So DJT, especially with the shift that we've had in the probabilities of Trump winning the election, that could be a very positive thing for this, which could allow for a sustained rally, which could bring some strength back into here. We do want to keep our eyes on that gap that we have to fill here. We did find strong support at the 50 EMA, took a good old bounce, but today we are down below it with the price action. So we're going to watch and see today with what happens on that. Update on Tesla. This bounce that we keep on getting right around the 50% Fibonacci level. That's from this peak that we have here down to this trough that we have here. So from one candle to the next, we actually peaked out right around that 50% Fibonacci retracement level. And then yesterday, having a strong movement in the markets as well. Long top wick on this thing. As a matter of fact, two high top wicks. There we go. Line that up a little bit better. So that is something that could indicate that we had those sellers coming in the pre-market hours, take a little bit of a bounce off that 50% fib. So we're going to watch and see what happens. I think there's a good likelihood that we chop sideways on this. And this is our range from the top to the bottom of this thing up until earnings next week. So today's Tuesday, and it's Tuesday the 16th. It's Tuesday the 23rd, which is where we get those earnings coming out in the after hours. So I think our range on this thing before earnings, 232, almost 233. Up to that top that we had around 271. Maybe we get capped out around at 265. We're just going to have to watch and see. And so for Tesla, not a lot to say in the near term about it. We're going to have really strong positive earnings in order for my price prediction of $300 per share to have a time to shine for this. I did have this by August the 8th. I said that was going to happen. And now we had the robo-taxi day, the full self-driving day pushed out to October. And so that's something that that was not necessarily all that positive for moving the price action upward from where we're at right now. Now, if we look at a bigger Fibonacci retracement on this one, from this bottom to this top that we have, let me click on that, and we'll click bottom to top on this. We'll see how far we've retraced. We've only really come down to about the 38.2 level, which is right around that $230 per share. So there we go. I'll adjust that a little bit. So there's 231, and that low price that we got off this was 233. So almost came down to it, not quite to it, but that is something we want to keep an eye on. That if we do fall down further, that actually puts us around this trend line that we have and around the 50% fib at around 219. So we want to be watchful for that. And there's a lot of reason to believe that this could be a turnaround point in the earnings for Tesla. And so it really matters what direction we approach the earnings from. That if we swing low into earnings, it's possible we get a nice little pop on that. If we swing high into earnings, it's possible that we drop from earnings, that we fall instead. And if we're kind of narrowing down and consolidating towards it, then it becomes more of a question of, we don't really know which direction it's going to go. And that's something that leads me to believe that we could possibly trade sideways on this in a very volatile way between now and then. The volumes tapering a little bit, but still higher than the last 20 volumes that we've had in this thing. So it is moving up because we've had a significant number of days now with higher than average volume. And so that average is moving up, and we would watch for that tapering. It's possible that those volumes continue to taper off as we get towards that earnings day. Last one I would have put in this video is Nvidia. There we go. And so I have a $140 price target on this. That's from this ascending triangle pattern. This line across the top, we'll ignore it for right now. I'll talk about it in just a moment. We need to watch these two trend lines for a direction. If we break through the top of this, then we could rise up, potentially hitting this trend line wherever that is. And that could be around the mid 130s. And that would actually confirm it as a trend line, or this bottom trend line that we've been selling on right now. If we break down through the bottom of that in the ascending triangle, which is a bullish pattern that it's in right now, if that fails, then we could start selling down and reaching these pivot lows that we had, 125, 120, going all the way back to here, 115. So we're going to be watchful for that. We do have on this 4-hour chart, this 200 period moving average, which is currently right around 114. That'll likely keep on coming up for us. And as that comes up, it'd be more like 116, 118. We'll see as that price moves along. So guys, if you want to see what I'm buying and selling, if you want to talk to me and my community members, if you want to just pick my brain over things, you can find me over at the Discord. It's available through my Patreon. That link for the Patreon is down in the description. Also down in the description, you'll find a link for a technical analysis trading course. You can click on that, sign up, and then learn to do technical analysis like I do and learn to bring power to your portfolio through technical analysis trading. That's all I have for now, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.